Hello, watchers and listeners. Thanks for taking time for another of Northern Lights Books Author Interview Plunge. Today we're talking with triple threat Pat Crumpler. Pat is an artist. She has a BA in Fine Arts and an MS in Educational Media and has illustrated children's books. She's also a speculative fiction author. She's won 8 Royal Palm Literary Awards, and she also writes romance and science fiction. In her own words, I write what the muse directs. Obviously, the muse is busy with her. Her books include Benevolence from First Realm Publishers, the Fins and Fables children's 3-book series, an adult fantasy, Sorrow Song, and an anthology, Detective, Spies, and Weirdos. They obviously go together, from Carpe Wordum. In her free time, she's had 15 short stories published in various anthologies. You can find more of Pat's carpewordum.com site, and we'll have links at the bottom of this interview page. Please, everyone, welcome Pat Crumpler. Thank you all. And the crowd goes wild. Pat, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to be part of our Author Interview Plunge series. If it's okay with you, I'm going to get right into the questions.
Okay.
Very good. Pat, you're based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and spend part of your time in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Why the duality, and how does that help your writing?
I love the ocean and I love mountains. And so I go to them and get my fix. And it does help me because I get to travel, I get to meet new people. There is a cultural difference, and I think it's good. I think it opens doors and it expands writers, and it just helps me.
Very good. I'm going to continue the theme of dualities. You're a classical music aficionado who also loves The Killer, Jerry Lee Lewis, one of my heroes. Does music play a role in your writing, either the creative process, or do you use it in your storylines, or when you're editing? Is there music you like to listen to that just helps you focus?
Multiple answers on that. The music is definitely important to me. I listen to it while I write. I listen to it at other times, but I incorporate it into my stories, especially romances. And Vivaldi is my favorite, so Vivaldi appears quite often in my stories. And in one of my romances, my hero makes love to Vivaldi. Makes love while listening to Vivaldi.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that. We'll edit that out later. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
I'm kidding.
Oh no, please.
That's fascinating to me. I've been playing music since I was a child. Not always well, but I have been. And music always plays a role in my stories. As a matter of fact, my wife, she has commented to me many times that she can tell what I'm editing or what type of work I'm editing by the music I play in the background. So I'm right with you. Thank you so much.
I believe that music is one of the things that sets us apart from animals. Mm-hmm. That being able to love is one thing, but being able to create and appreciate music, I think, puts us on a higher plane.
Excellent. You're a science fiction, romance, speculative fiction author. So we're going beyond duality. We're into tripality here. How do you manage the muse and being multi-generational, if you will?
I don't think I manage the muse. I think she manages me. And as a youngster, I spent a lot of time in the library and became a high school librarian later on. But I cut my teeth on science fiction. So that was my first love. And I think all stories have to have a storyline, and there's, because we're humans, and I guess even my aliens feel love, the romance creeps in there. And from that, I thought maybe writing a romance would be fun, and it was. And romances have strict parameters. People probably don't realize this, but there is a prescription, and romance readers expect it.
Really?
So, yes, I mean, there has to be 2 points of view. I'm giving you kind of a guidelines. I don't think there's anything written in stone. It might be, though. 2 points of views. The female is usually the larger. It's 70-30 typically. And there's a plot line that it kind of goes up and down, and they meet, they fight, they meet again, they fight. And then there's this terrific black moment, they call it, where the reader is absolutely positive that these two can't possibly get together, and something happens. And of course, they get together, and most romances live happily ever after.
Did you study? I've never heard of that. Did you study that? Is that, you said
Yeah.
it's not written in stone, but where did you learn that?
Well, I joined romance writers,
Mm-hmm.
and as a green romance writer, I was told, oh, yeah, your point of view isn't quite balanced correctly, and you didn't have your black moment. And so I went back and
Wow.
started.
And that romance writers, is that what RWA, Romance Writers of America? Is that what that is?
Yes,
Okay.
you
So that's
join
online.
them, the national, and then you can join your local.
Okay, we'll have links to that, folks, on this interview page. I also have another question. You say that the muse controls you. Do you know, you sit down and okay, I'm going to be writing a science fiction story today. I'm going to be writing a romance today. Do you know before the pen hits the page, or the pencil hits the page, whatever, or the fingers hit the keys, do you know that it's going to be that type of story, or you're just going along and, oh my goodness, look at that, there's a black moment, oh my goodness?
No, I know. When the idea comes, I really can't do much about it. My brain churns it, and I kind of outline it in my mind, and then I sit down and I outline it. And I don't always stick to the outline, but I know what it's going to be.
So you are much like Fitzgerald, a slave to the muse.
Yeah, I don't drink as much as he
Yeah,
did.
well, I don't think anybody does these days. Anyway, well, that's interesting. That's fast. Thank you for telling me that. Now, everyone needs to know you have won awards. Congrats for your romance and speculative fiction. Can you tell us about winning these awards? I've been nominated. That's my big thing. Okay, I've said it. But you've won awards, and that's got to be really kind of special. Are these from your peers? Are these from fans? How is this going? And did you submit something to the awards? Or did they say, "Oh, look at this, she wrote this. My God, let's give her an award"?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? No, it's most of them, the ones that I'm most proud of, are from Florida Writers, which is a rather prestigious association. And every year they have the Royal Palm Literary Award competition. And it's big. So they have certain genres, and then you submit your work using their guidelines. Then the work is judged. And first you go to semifinals and then finals. And then they have a big awards banquet at their conference, and the winners are announced.
Well,
So you have to reach a certain, there's initial judges, you reach a certain point level, and then it goes on to a final judge who reads the entire thing. And I've seen the rubrics, and they're pretty tough. So winning is a real big, happy thing. It's incredible.
and you've won 8. You won
Yeah,
8.
how about that?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's incredible. Congratulations. I'm jealous. I'm envious.
Well, I also got this, if the camera sees it.
Can you bring it a
This
little bit
is,
forward? Bring it a little bit forward to the camera. Okay.
it is a,
Royal Palm Literary 2017. Everybody has it.
that is runner-up for Book of the Year.
Wow. What
For
was the book?
Vivian Wexler, Galactic Detective.
That book is available on Amazon.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, because this was an unpublished genre. I still have to find a publisher for that.
Okay, but it's Vivian Wexler. What is the rest of it?
Galactic Detective.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
would,
go ahead. What were we gonna say?
I would really like to get an agent for that one.
We're gonna go off script without giving away spoilers. Tell us about Vivian Wexler, Galactic Detective.
Okay. Vivian Wexler is a young and sassy, redheaded, very adept at her skill as being a detective, and she has been hired to go to another planet and solve a mystery. And she does. And she gets into a lot of trouble. But she does such a good job that the prime minister recommends her to become a galactic agent. And she applies. I had an agent interested in it. However, the agent was turned off because Vivian's mentor was a 6-foot sentient insect. And the agent just couldn't buy that. Yet all of my test readers loved that character. After a while, he ceased being an insect and just became a really interesting character.
This is where I wish the audience could see me, because I'm sitting here shocked, folks. It's like, wow, it's probably best you didn't do with that agent. You know what I mean? It's probably best that that agent passed you by, because that agent's not going to do justice to your story. The fact that they couldn't accept a 6-foot sentient insect, they've obviously never read Philip Jose Farmer's The Lovers,
Yeah.
right? You know, okay, fine, all right. Well, I want to get a copy of that, just so I've said it.
Shall
And
I send you the manuscript?
that'd be great. Is that going to be part of a series? It sounds like it's part of a
Yeah.
series. Oh,
Oh, yes,
okay.
I've already outlined 3 more books with her.
Oh,
getting
come on.
in
And
that
you haven't got. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
You also write science fiction romance,
Right.
which I have no clue what that is. That's where the black moment involves a black hole. What exactly is that?
Okay. Well, this the one that I'm currently writing occurs on a far off planet where they don't have electricity. They use everything by steam power, but it's not steampunk. They don't have guns. They do have air cannons and steam cannons and so forth. But a warrior who happens to be the crown prince. They have slavery on this planet, but the slavery is in place of prison. And so prisoners of war and people who get in trouble become slaves for a limited amount of time, except in the more darker areas where they don't always obey the law. And this prince gets himself a slave who's beautiful, but she is really a princess, and it's a very complicated plot, but eventually they fall in love.
Of course, it's a
So
romance.
it is science fiction, yet it works within the parameters of romance.
So I'm kind of curious. Vivian Wexler, Galactic Detective, and what's the title of this book you've just described?
Captive Attraction.
Captive Attraction. I like that. Are those adult novels? Are they young adult? Are they?
Oh, they're adult.
Oh, okay. All right. Everybody in the audience, we know what that means. The passion is on the page. Okay. All right. You write science fiction. That's one of your genres. Yet you claim that you're not at all technical. So if you don't focus on technology, for example, the captive attraction, there's no electricity, but everything's done by steam power. So if you don't focus on technology, do you deal more with character, plot, voice? What is the forte, if you will?
Well, I might have a little technology in there because I do some research, like the steam. I looked up steam cannons and I talked to some experts. And so there is some technology in there. And of course, there's spaceships. So um, I do as much as I can without showing my reader that I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there are ways to circumvent it, but it's a lot of character driven and plot driven. And in benevolence, these are freaks who have been shunned by Earth from a plague, a DNA altering plague, and they're sent out to space. And I kind of tiptoe around that because that could be very complicated living in a city sized ship. So I put enough in there that I hope the technology is believable, but that was mostly relationships. So people who think they don't like um, sci-fi have told me they liked this, that it
Okay,
wasn't over technical.
very good. You attended Chattacon, which is the Chattanooga, Tennessee conference, right?
Correct.
What can you tell us about that? Do you recommend going to cons? Is that something that's part of your marketing strategy?
Well, yes, and that was my first one, and it was an eye opener. I have now registered for WorldCon, which will be in San Jose in August. Um, my book sales were pretty good. They would have made a profit if I hadn't donated some of my books to some local um, libraries, but I don't think I'm in this for the money anyway, but I just want to make my expenses. Yeah, going to cons is great. You meet really interesting people and you learn so much. There's networking, and the lady who was in a booth next to me, she told me some stuff that was very helpful. I have now ordered a professional printer so that I can make prints of my artwork. I had not thought about selling my artwork, and I'm going to start doing that. So,
Excellent.
yeah, go to cons.
Definitely. Um, you publish with, or your first book was published with First Realm, a Canadian publisher. And I understand you're considering other publishers now. Can you tell us about the transition? Was First Realm not a good fit, or what?
Oh, well, they were my first, and I will always be grateful to them for taking me. One night I sat down with benevolence and said, I want to get this published, and I pulled up a list, and they were first on my genre, and I sent it to them, and I heard from them back immediately and said, welcome to the family. And I thought, wow, that's great. So I really do owe them
Hmm.
a debt of gratitude. I think I want a larger publisher. I want someone who will do more marketing for me.
Hmm.
I really don't want to market. I just want to write. No,
I totally understand that. Marketing is my weakness as well. How did you celebrate the publication of your first book? You did
I,
celebrate, right?
oh yes, I bought a bottle of Dom Perignon and I shared it with my husband and the lady who helped edit it and her husband, and it was good.
Good. Congratulations. What do you want readers to remember about your books?
Oh, well, let's see. I want them to have a good time. I want them to read the characters and say, wow, I think that guy is sexy, or that girl really had a change. She really learned something and became something better. And maybe learn a thing or two.
Okay. So I've just read your books, and the guys are sexy and the women have learned things. Perhaps one of the great things they've learned is not every sexy guy is worth his time. However, what would I, as a reader, be most shocked or surprised to learn about you?
Mm, that I'm so boring and can write so many wild things.
No, I've got the luck on boring and dull, but okay, so you're boring. Do you use first readers?
I don't know what you're asking. First readers.
When I have,
Oh, I do. Yes,
yeah,
yes. I know what you're talking about. Oh, gosh, yes. I have my alpha reader who goes through and picks out all the stuff he can find that's just wrong. And then I have 2 or 3 beta readers, and each one is at a higher level,
mhm,
and they look at different things.
yep, very good.
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate the alpha and beta readers. That my marketing background. Even though I hate to do my own marketing, I have a marketing background, and the alpha and beta testers for a book are so important to me. So I'm right with you. All right, we're going to go back to you and the muse. Our stories, you said that when you sit down, you know what's going to happen. So are stories fully formed in your head before you write them? Did the stories change as you're writing them? Do you get this idea and then you begin to apply logic and rigor to the story? Like when you're talking about your romance, there's a way the romance books have to go. Is it intuition? How does this all happen?
It's a mixture of everything. I get this idea, and it owns me for a while until I've worked it out. I think it through, then I write it, and often I make changes. I know what the ending is going to be for the most part, um, and I have my journey. The thing just works out the way it's supposed to and ends the way it's supposed to.
Hmm.
I don't know if that fully answers the question, but
Well, you're an author. You can put it in the caveats. Authors forward. What's something memorable you've heard from readers and fans?
I think the best thing I heard was, I read your science fiction story. I don't like science fiction, but maybe I do now.
Wow, that's nice. You turned somebody on to it. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy writing about? Meaning, what part of the writing process just really gets you going?
I love dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have made a group of characters based on real people, and I pull them out and use them all the time. I can tweak them and change them. And I think because I already know these people, they're easier to work with. And that is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they surprise me. As I'm writing the dialogue, I know that person would say what I'm writing, but then it surprises me. And sometimes if I come back after a year and I read it, I think, I don't remember writing that, but there it is.
What part is the worst? No fun. What part is the most painful part of writing for you?
Oh, the marketing. Oh,
Okay, all right. Um, your current book, the one you're working on now, that's Captive Attraction?
yes.
Okay. Um, when can we expect to see that?
Well, I'm about 10,000 words away from the ending.
Okay.
So I will then send it to my alpha reader, and that I usually get that back in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Then it'll go to a couple of betas, and I will have that ready, oh, by the end of the year.
Okay. Well, we'll look for it then. Um, in our previous discussions, you said it's important to leave something of yourself for others. What would you like your legacy to be?
Well, especially in my children's books. I have Fins and Fables, volumes 1, 2, and 3, and they're like Aesop's fables. It's stories about little mermaids and mer children and the trouble that they can get into if they don't do what they're supposed to. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Do what your parents say, etc. I hope that in years to come when I'm gone, if a child picks up that book and says, gee, I better not lie or cheat or steal, I better do what my parents say, that is my legacy.
Excellent. Pat, I want to thank you so much for the time you've given us today. It's been I've enjoyed this interview. I hope you have as well. Thanks for answering these questions. I got one more question if you have time for it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. What question do you wish that someone would ask about you or your book, but nobody has?
I can't think of anything. I've had a lot of questions asked to me. Where do you get the stuff?
Okay.
One time somebody did ask me, what are you smoking?
Okay, very good. So Pat, what are you smoking? Where do you get this stuff? You get a Dom Perignon filter close by and just keep on going for it. Okay. Is there anything I have missed, Miss Crumpler?
No, I think you're excellent interviewer, and I really appreciate your questions. Would you like to be my publicist?
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you again so much. I appreciate this. Everyone, Pat Crumpler, look for Benevolence, look for Fins and Fables, Sorrow Song, Detective Spies and Weirdos. We never even got to that. She has in her queue Vivian Wexler, Galactic Detective, and we're going to find an agent and big name publisher, big 5 publisher for that. And then there's Captive Attraction, where a prince makes a slave out of a princess. And oh, my childhood fantasies are going well with that one already. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.